This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
What's going on, great friends? It is Tuesday afternoon, along with Grande and the Brown Man. This is Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. You're looking for a good time. 7 Mile Casino is only 7 minutes south of downtown San Diego. They got blackjack and poker on one side, which, by the way, is a completely smoke-free environment. And on the other side, they got Sammy's Restaurant and Bar, which, as we can all tell you, and the 30 great friends that were with us at our supper club last month can all tell you that it is a bomb restaurant and bar. And what a great place to have Sammy's on one side, 7 Mile Casino on the other side, smoke-free environment, great place, good luck, and be careful because if you have any problems related to gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, guys, it is Tuesday afternoon. So last night I sent Grande a text. This is probably at around I'm going to say 9-ish, 8:30, 9-ish last night. And I said, yo, the Padres almost blew it. I said, and did you see that Trent Grisham non-play in the outfield? Because my son, you guys know my son, Justin, who's 22 years old, lives and dies on every pitch. Definitely thought the game was going to get blown last night. Certainly expected the Rockies to come back. But the Padres broke the streak of 10 straight losses in Colorado, and they found a way to just kind of eke out a win last night. But I sent Grande a text, and I said, yo, did you see this? Did you see this? Grande chose to go in a different direction last night. Is that right?
That's correct. That is correct. I did not watch the Padres last night. I instead went to IMAX to watch Thor, Love, and Thunder.
And I have not seen Thor, and I'm not likely going to see Thor. Browner, have you seen Thor yet? I know this is kind of up your alley. Is this a Marvel movie or is this a DC deal? What's the story here?
It's Marvel.
This is a Marvel.
Okay. All right. And who's Thor?
The God of Thunder.
The actor?
Well,
who plays Thor? Or who is Thor?
Both.
Thor is played by Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, there's 3 Hemsworths.
Yeah.
So I think it's Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And Thor is the God of Thunder, and he's part of the Marvel Universe.
Also known as the Mightiest Avenger.
He's the Mightiest Avenger?
Yes.
Because he's a god.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Of Thunder.
Uh-huh. Okay. And Grande, can I
my review?
Yeah, I'd love to hear your review because here's the thing. I'm not inclined to go see Thor. The last movie I saw in the theater was Maverick, so Top Gun Part 2, which, that was one of those deals where it's hey, kid, you were a big Top Gun fan in the late 80s. And, hey, kid, you thought you were going to be a naval aviator because you saw Maverick and Iceman do it. And so 30-plus years later, when they come out with Maverick, which is, again, Top Gun Part 2, and there's all the San Diego connections, et cetera, I was inclined to go to the movie theater and see that. But even prior to that, I think I went to see Spider-Man just because everybody was all hyped on it, and I didn't even really know what was going on. So Thor is not probably something I'm going to go see, but I am curious. What'd you think?
I thought the story itself was pretty empty, but the movie itself was fantastic. It was funny. It was light. It wasn't, I am not a comic book reader, so I don't know in the grand scheme of things what this is going to affect. I will just say that last night I was blown away by the silliness of it all for a comic book movie and just how unserious it took himself, which I know people hated when I was reading stuff after last night. People actually hated that aspect. I myself thought it was great. And it was just a really good time. Those IMAX movies, I feel like they whatever movie you watch, if you watch it on IMAX, it makes it a grade higher. Just because it's IMAX, in my opinion.
And Brown, have you seen Thor already?
Yes.
Because this is kind of right up your alley. You're one of those guys that loves the movies and goes and runs out to see all these Marvel movies as soon as they come out, right?
Yes.
How'd you like it?
I thought it was great. I didn't feel like I have nothing bad to say about it. I thought it was probably of the Marvel films the most fun one that they've made. It was genuinely, it was almost a comedy. But it had some sad points to it, but it felt more like a comedy. There's these goats in there it's just it's a really fun movie. It's a really fun time. You don't need to know anything about the storyline really to see the movie. You just need to understand who
Because it fills you in.
huh?
It fills you in the
Yeah,
movie.
you just need to
Like there's literally a narration from a character telling you what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought they did a great job with that movie. I don't know where it's going or how it fits into the overarching storyline, which I feels like doesn't exist anymore, but that's a completely different topic. But this particular movie was fantastic. I loved it.
The thing that surprised me the most, Scott, is that they got Christian Bale to play the villain.
Right.
And Christian Bale, in my opinion, is one of the best actors, right? Just
And
in
they
general.
also got Matt Damon again to play like a super small part, but it's really funny when you see it.
Yeah. But like Christian Bale, I wonder why he's already been Batman for 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder why, or like of all the characters to play that there are now in comic book movies, like why he decided to do this villain in such a silly movie, because it's such a serious, deep role in a non-serious, deep movie. It was very interesting to watch him like literally put in like a legit acting performance in this silly, like stupid comedy. Like it was like the differences of what the movie is with what the villain was did not mesh at all. And I was like, why did Christian Bale decide to do this one? Like, that was interesting to me. But I thought he killed it. I thought he killed it. Like, I've never seen him be like any obviously we've seen him be Batman, but to be a villain in makeup and like CGI and stuff, it was really cool.
Hey, Browner, are there a lot of brothers in these films?
Well, yeah, Heimdall's son, Idris Elba is in it. And toward the end, his son
Valkyrie
is now in it as well. Not his real son, but the person who plays his child in the movie. So yeah, there are a lot. There's aliens, there's green people, there's brown people, there are people with horns, there are people with no feet.
Well, I just asked because a lot of times, like I'll say something about a movie and you'll be like, yo, man, ain't no brothers in that movie. I'm not going to see it.
Vin Diesel's in this movie.
Yeah, but is Vin Diesel black?
Yes, sir. Yes,
he is.
Mm-hmm.
Vin
Really?
Diesel's black?
Come on.
Yes.
Plus, Vin Diesel's not really in it.
But that's my whole point. That's my whole point.
Kind of in it.
Like the movie, there are people in it, but they're not. They're again, one's a tree. Like Bradley Cooper's a raccoon.
I mean, but every name you mentioned, like the Thor guy, Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, Vin Diesel, like I don't hear a lot of brothers. But when I ask you about, like, for example, Maverick, you're like, nah, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing Top Gun. Ain't no brothers in Top Gun. And then we came back from Maverick and we're like, well, the military has changed, so the movie has changed. So I just wondered.
I mean, listen.
Well, Tessa Thompson is like one of the main characters.
Also black.
But Vin Diesel, I mean, you've said something here today that I'm not really. I've always thought Vin Diesel.
I'm literally Googling Vin Diesel parents right now.
I never knew Vin. Like, brother, are you claiming Vin Diesel? I always claimed Vin Diesel.
No, brother, you lost him.
Really? I did?
Vin Diesel's a black man.
He is?
Yeah.
He's just a light-skinned brother for real?
Yeah. I think he's Italian as well. I think he's mixed with something, but he's
like German.
He's a black man.
I don't know, man.
So his dad's a black guy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me what you're finding out. Really? I had no idea Vin Diesel's black.
I can't believe you trying to take Vin Diesel, dog.
Yeah, dog. I like Vin Diesel a lot. I wanted him. You know what I mean? But I like him.
Wow,
I love him.
Wow, you trying to take Vin Diesel from us.
Listen, you took him from me. I didn't. This whole time I thought he was with me.
Listen. No, I didn't take him. He was always ours. He was just misinformed. Listen, we got a lot of people we can give you.
Okay. I'll take Drake.
Again, no.
Drake is with me.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
You didn't disown Drake after the last album, Browner? Like a lot of people.
I love when artists give you different music. Whether it's good or not, it's a completely different discussion. But I love when artists give you something different, and this is something way different. I enjoyed it. I mean, I won't be playing it 2 years from now or 2 days from now, but I enjoyed it.
I have not played a Drake album as much as this one in my entire life.
His latest.
Like, this is right up my alley.
Right,
like this freaking English house music is like, that's what I listen to.
Drake's a smart man, dude. Then the people who don't get it, they'll come back on the next one. But this is for what it is. If you take it for what it is in its totality, it's very good.
All right.
But Scott wants Drake.
Yeah, I want
Took
Drake.
Vin
Drake's
Diesel.
on
He
my
wants Drake.
Drake's on my guy. Drake's on the
Are we
on
doing the
Hebrew
Dave
team.
Chappelle racial draft right
you
now?
can have Will Smith.
No, I don't want Will Smith. You know I'm anti Will Smith right now. I'll take Chris Rock.
Listen,
Isn't Will Smith a Scientologist? Didn't they take him?
Is he really?
Isn't he?
I didn't know that.
Hey, let me ask you guys this real quick, since we're talking about things that we may have watched last night outside of just Padre baseball. I will tell you guys, I was last night, one of my favorite little spots here locally, Best Pizza and Brew in Cardiff. Browner, you like Best Pizza, don't you?
You already know what time it is when I'm up in there, man.
I'll tell you what, man.
Barbecue chicken pizza.
Dude, last night we went out on a couple of different limbs and got a few different things on the table and tried some new stuff, and it was really great. But the baseball game was on. Padre baseball game was on. And of course, my son is sitting there and he's living and, like I said, dying on every single pitch. And when we got to the bottom of the ninth inning, the Padres were leading at that point. I want to say it was 6-3. And the Rockies scored 2 runs. And my son is like, they're going to lose it. They're going to blow it. No doubt about it. They're going to blow it. And they almost did. But they wound up finding a way to break the streak in Colorado and get a win. By the way, Browner, you were kind of hyping yesterday. C.J. Abrams hit a three-run home run. And that
was the difference.
What is the difference? Playing in Colorado? Is that what the difference is?
No, that turned out to be the
that
difference in the game. That
right.
3-run home run.
Jake Cronenworth also was on. Manny, Manny hit a bomb yesterday. I mean, a monster bomb. And I got to give Manny a ton of credit, for all the talk yesterday about how I don't love Manny and how I really don't like the way he treats the media in the clubhouse, which, by the way, for me to defend Kevin Acee versus anybody, you know how I feel about it. But I got to give Manny a ton of credit because, man, since he has come back from his injury, I'm not saying it's been like consistent, like he's back to where he was, but he's hit 3 monster home runs, at least that I can think of.
It's a bad series against the Dodgers. I think he definitely rushed it back against the Dodgers, and now you can see that he's getting back into it.
So I want to say that after the game was over, we'll talk about the game. And we got a lot of stuff we want to get to today. But Alex, you got me completely. You got me in. You got me sucked in on this series. Keep sweet, pray, and obey. Mm-hmm. Anybody who has seen this, you already know. Anybody who hasn't seen it, last night, Alex, I watched episodes 2 and 3. And then this morning I had to wake up and watch episode 4. So
you just
I had to finish it off. Yeah. I had to know what happened.
I stayed up late to finish 4 whenever I finished it. I was like, I have to finish this.
Browner, you got to see this show.
What is it about?
It is about the most bizarre group of people. So I really was trying to figure it all out. There was this old guy who had 50 wives or whatever. He's this Mormon dude in Utah, but he was from this fundamentalist sect of this religion,
Church of Latter-day Saints. But took it to a
extreme.
Right. So polygamy is banned in Utah.
Allegedly.
So they created a place where it was not banned in Utah.
Exactly.
Right. So they had their own. They had their own it would be like
county.
They had their own county. That's probably the best way to say it.
And when we say own county, literally top to bottom, county.
Right. They had fire department,
positions of power,
police department,
police officers,
right,
businesses. Yeah.
And it was really weird because there were plenty of people that were deeply involved in the religion, but they had external lives. They had external businesses and dealt with people outside, it seemed like, of the congregation, the church, etc. And yet nobody ever walked back in and went, something doesn't seem right with the way we live. Something doesn't seem right with, and I guess if you were a person that was born into a group of people that you never watched TV, you never watched the news, you never listened to music, you never had access to the internet, everything was just closed and you were brainwashed your entire life to think this is the way to live. It's almost believable that it could happen, But then the way the story twists when the old guy dies and the next guy takes over, not only are they marrying 14-year-old girls and marrying off young underage girls to much older dudes, because by the way, the more wives you had, the more powerful you were in the religion, if you will. You're right.
Prestige.
But the amount of money that they were generating, and at one point, one of the cops talks about this is like the biggest human trafficking thing of all time, because it was the girls were trapped and then they were given away to the husbands, and then the guys were trapped and they were all just laborers, and they would take them from Utah and they say, hey, you're going to go here and you're going to build stuff over here and you're going to work over here. And it was a bizarre, crazy story. But the weird part of it is I know a girl who once she's a friend of a friend. She was telling me this story one night about how she grew up in a religious sect like this. And by the time she was, in her early teenage years, she was having, sexual relationships with the men within the community because that's the way it was. It is the most bizarre story that listen, it's hard to believe that this could actually really happen, especially in the United States. Like, how could we just allow all these people to live in this one, like, gated area, if you will, own police station, own firefighters, all in the name of religion, where one guy's got 30 or 40 or 50 wives and 15 and 16-year-old girls are being impregnated by these dudes? It is just the most bizarre series. 4 parts. It's all it took me. 4 parts. I took it down in a day, and I watched 1 episode Sunday night, 2 episodes Monday night, and I woke up early this morning to watch the 4th episode. It's all it is 4 episodes. But man, it is hard to believe that can happen.
It's heavy, dude.
I don't know why people be so shocked. Like, America's a very large country with a ton of space where no one lives. Like, in America, like, most people really live in like 6 places. Outside of that, it's small groups where anything goes because local people don't want their bubble popped. So I could 100% believe that this happened. 100%.
Well, it's not about it. Well, it was a true story.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I can believe it happened.
Yeah. Even this guy eventually, and he was such a weird dude. The guy who was like the leader of the whole religion. Creepy weird.
Dude.
My man had 20 wives. You know how hard that is?
20,
yeah,
bro.
But what was really ultimately amazing, and this is when you get to the 4th episode, and I don't want to blow it for everybody, but I'm not sure everybody's going to see it. They built this temple in Texas. They decided they had to the heat was on. They had to leave, the main guy had to leave Utah and go to Texas. And he goes down to Texas, and they take over this land. And then they start building this community. And pilots are flying over it going, something weird's going on down here. And then they realize who it is and what's happening.
Building the Taj Mahal in like the middle of nowhere,
Dorado, Texas. And they built this temple that was massive and pristine. And when they finally kind of got in, when they finally got a search warrant, everything that they'd ever done was documented, man. It was on computers and hard drive and external drives, and it was published. Everything that they'd ever done in the name of their religion or in the name of what the prophet wanted to do, because he just became like power hungry and he owned all these people. It reminded me of years ago. There was this like religious sect in Texas. And do you guys remember Waco, Texas? And the cops were like burning the place down.
Mm-hmm.
Right. David Koresh. That was like, you hear about these cult leaders and you're like, how could
they
have
a good series too.
All these people? Oh, wait, there's a series about them?
Yeah, it's a dramatic reenactment of what happened, but it's still very good. I think I saw it on FX. It was probably like on Hulu.
Yeah, they say the FBI messed that up big time.
Well,
a lot of people died.
In this particular series, by the way, the one that I'm talking about, which is Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey, there was a whole big thing that when the cops showed up and they were all, armed and they were moving all these women and all these children, it became like a big PR war, because they were on every show. The Today Show, they showed Oprah Winfrey walking through because she was there to cover the story.
Browner, this was happening less than 10 years ago.
I think
that's what's so crazy about it.
I remember this. I think I vaguely
literally
remember
watching.
This.
You're watching Katie Couric interview. You're watching Oprah. You're watching like people that And I had no historical recollection of any of this.
Zero.
None of this.
Me neither. I had no recollection of this at all. I'll just give it a suggestion. I'll tell everybody, because I'm always looking for suggestions of series to watch. The problem for me is that when you have like so many seasons and now I got to start from the beginning, like if I wanted to go back and rewatch Succession or try and pick up Succession where I left off, I kind of got to get reacquainted with the whole thing. So this was great for me because it was just 4 episodes, and it's just one of those things where you're like, you get done watching it, you're like, wow, I had no idea that this was happening. And it's really, it's kind of got me freaked out.
By the way,
yeah.
Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this show, still happening.
Oh, I know. Right. There are still people living that life. And he's, as far as I know, he was still in jail telling them what to do. He was still directing traffic from jail.
Still the man in jail.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Incredible. All right, listen, we're just getting rolling. It's Tuesday afternoon. We are in the 7 Mile Casino studios, 7milecasino.com. 7 minutes south of downtown San Diego, completely smoke-free environment, blackjack and poker over here, Sammy's Restaurant and Bar over here. Come on down and enjoy it, and good luck, and be careful. Call 1-800-GAMBLER if you got a problem. Just getting rolling. We got a lot to get to today. This is Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Rome comes home. Yes, I said it. You can now catch the Jim Rome Show Monday through Friday, noon until 3 p.m. on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. Back to San Diego, where it all started, on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
Please welcome in tax attorney Adam Brewer. Adam, thanks so much for joining us again on Main Street Living.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be back.
So, of course, we have more tax questions for you. First of all, what are the types of business entities that business owners can use?
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd ask this question. So this time of year, this is when, business owners probably just got handed a pretty big tax bill. And so naturally, the next question is, how can they save taxes? How can they save on taxes? And so that's where these business entities really, they may come in. So yeah, what we're looking at is corporations or limited liability companies, more commonly called LLCs. So definitely by using either a corporation or an LLC, business owners may be able to really save on taxes. For the most part, when we talk about tax savings, we're looking at like an S Corp election. And so again, an LLC can do that, a corporation can do that. But the net result is you want to save on what's called self-employment tax. So for 2022, a business owner is going to, by default, pay self-employment tax on the first $147,000 of taxable income. So that's 15.3%. By doing an S Corp election, putting yourself on payroll, you can really drive down how much of your income you have to pay that 15.3% at. Beyond the tax savings, it just offers an extra level of protection between the business owner's personal assets, say their home, and their business operation. So, no matter what business you operate, you're going to have some exposure to liability. So an entity like a corporation, like an LLC, it just puts that extra level of protection between the business and then what the owner has on their personal side.
Yeah, well, clearly a plethora of information that you always provide to us, Adam. We appreciate you being on the show. Where can our viewers get in touch with you for more tax help?
Yeah, like always, they can visit my website, triumphovertax.com, or feel free to pick up the phone. You can always give me a call, 619-591-9500.
If you love animals, Animal Zone is for you. From rescues to animal experts, Animal Zone is fun for the whole family. Watch Animal Zone right here on Your View, Saturdays at 8:30 a.m. and visit animalzone.org to learn more about the show.
This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, John Browner, and Alex Padilla.
Hi, great friends. Hey, what's happening? Today is Tuesday. It is July 12th. This is Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. We come to you from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. For those of you who watch on YouTube or listen on audio podcast, you know, we take these quick little commercial breaks. On YouTube and on audio podcast, we're back in a second. But on radio, it takes a long time. We got a lot of commercials that we got to air. So I always kind of reset at the beginning of the segment. And a lot of you guys ask me, like, why do you do that? Because I watch on YouTube and I don't really need the reset. I know, but the radio people do need the reset. The TV people need the reset. You know, we're trying to serve a lot of masters here. Radio, TV, YouTube, audio, podcast. So work with me here, beautiful people. Work with me. You know what I'm saying? What are you guys saying? What's going on? What's going on here?
Metallica's Master of Puppets has a new life, a new lease on life because of Stranger Things.
Add it to the
That's what I
list.
was singing right now.
So wait, so both of you guys have seen Stranger Things.
Correct.
And both of you guys have told me that I wouldn't like Stranger Things.
Correct.
No chance.
Do you guys think maybe I should, and I'm asking seriously, because I did watch that 4-episode series that you gave me, Alex, this Pray and Obey thing that I've been focused on today.
Yeah.
Neither one of you want to suggest to me, like, hey, dude, do yourself a favor. Go watch episode 1 of Stranger Things. Give it 3 episodes and tell us what you think. Like, nobody's suggesting to me. You're telling me I won't like it. Stay away from it.
I mean, if you're willing to watch it to keep up with pop culture, then you should watch it. Like, I've watched things just because people are talking about it, not so much I'm interested in it. I just want to be left out. FOMO, you know? Do you have FOMO? Then maybe.
I don't know that I have FOMO, but I will tell you this, that I want to say it was last week. I think it was like Friday or Saturday night. Maybe it was a week earlier. We were out one night, and for some reason we came home and we decided to order Domino's pizza. When was the last time you've ordered Domino's? Browner, you probably, I don't know. Browner, are you a
Maybe a week
Domino's
ago.
guy? A week ago?
Maybe a week ago.
Domino's.
Mm-hmm.
Domino's doesn't deliver to my apartment, so
Huh?
Really?
yeah, they don't.
It's right up the street.
I've actually gone away from Pizza Hut too. I'm a local now, dude. I get a local pizza, but I can't tell you the last time I had Domino's, dude. I really do not.
Well, this
know.
was
Pizza Hut, yes.
But this was like a late night Domino's thing. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, it was 4th of July, and we were over at some people's house. They had a party, and they had brought in like all this barbecue from like Phil's barbecue. So like ribs and chicken and, you know, all the kind of side stuff that goes with it. But now it's like, call it 8:30 at night, you know, fireworks were going off and the food had all been, you know, it had been gone. So we, for some reason, decided we're going to order Domino's for those who are the late night people. But the problem is we wound up ordering like $100 worth of pizza, but slowly but surely people started to leave the party. When we ordered the pizza, there were 20 people there. When the pizza got there, there were like 5 of us.
Everybody was hungry.
Yeah, but everybody, right, everybody left, right. The Domino's boxes all had like ads for Stranger Things on the boxes. You know how like fast food restaurants like McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, they'll have like a deal with a movie or in this case a series.
Like a Thor cup or whatever. Yeah.
So Domino's had Stranger Things all over the boxes. And I was like, I think I'm the only person in America that's not watching Stranger Things. And my excuse for why I'm not watching it is because you guys keep telling me I won't watch it or I won't like it. What won't I like about it?
First of all,
tell me why I won't
it's
like it.
4 seasons.
Okay. All right, so that's a problem immediately
seasons.
because I'm already 4 seasons behind. Okay.
Right. And that's always your biggest complaint. Well, how much do I have to catch up on?
Yeah.
Every episode is an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very much, the first couple seasons is very much like, what kind of show or movie would you compare it to, Brown? It's a lot of callbacks like E.T., like 80s.
It has a very Stand By Me feel to it in the very beginning. Like it's a combination of Stand By Me and Sandlot. Then you throw an alien in there.
The main characters are kids.
Right.
That to me just doesn't even scream like anything you would even watch.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like Dungeons and Dragons references.
A lot of references to Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, it's really about Dungeons and Dragons.
Initially.
It's about aliens and technically a superhero, not really a superhero, but superpowers.
And the thing that it also highlighted for me that I never really realized until the end of this season, how poor people parented in the 70s.
Really?
80s.
80s or 70s, 80s. Just brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal.
At least in the show.
I don't know, Browner. I got to tell you, man. Like, I grew up in the 80s, and I feel like my parents were much better parents to me and my sister than I am to my children.
Listen, this show portrays these parents as being utterly clueless. 'cause
Negligent.
They live in the suburbs, and these kids
Straight
just
negligent.
go
dude.
out and fight monsters, and no one knows what they're doing. Like, no one knows what they're
Yeah.
doing
Right, but isn't
at
it
all.
You actually though you might like the callbacks because it's like the characters get a job at the mall and then now they're all dressed like there's like these
The
these
nostalgia of
scenes.
the time period.
The nostalgia of the time period might be something you're interested in
Mhm.
because that's when you were what how old were you in the 80s?
Well, I mean, I was
Like,
in the 80s from 1980 to 1990. I was 10 to 20. So I mean, I am
so that's how old
literally
these
I am
kids
a
are.
kid of the 80s.
So
That's how old these kids are. These are high school kids. Well, season 4 they're high school kids in the 80s.
Mhm.
So maybe
So you say that your parents were a better parent to you and your sister than you were to your kids, but they're
And I currently am,
vastly
yeah.
different. Those are vastly different challenges. Vastly different challenges than the times.
there was 2 of you and 4 of them.
Yeah, you're
outnumbered.
outnumbered. That's
Mhm.
problem number one. Trust me,
Mhm.
I know.
You know about being outnumbered 4 to 2?
Yeah, man. As a black man in society, you outnumbered by a lot of stuff.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And what about children?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Okay.
One
I'll
one to one.
just
One
keep
to
moving
one.
on. I'll just keep moving then.
Mhm.
I'll keep
Yeah.
moving. Those of
Yeah.
you who know, you know. Those of you who don't, you don't. Yeah, my parents were better parents to me than I am to my kids. I'll tell you why. My kids now, they have a lot more freedom than I had. A lot more. I remember when I was a senior in high school, my best friend, I've mentioned my boy Andrew on the air many times. My best friend Andrew, our senior year of high school, he was going on a cruise ship. We lived in Fort Lauderdale, right? So he was going on a cruise ship for one of the Jewish holidays. It was Passover, and he was pretty religious guy at the time, and he was very good at like running the services, even as an 18-year-old kid. So he said to me, he goes, "Hey, I'm going to go on this cruise, and I'm going to bring you with me, and we're going to have a great time on this cruise, and I'm going to run these services." And I was like, "Okay, great, let's go." And I go home to my parents, and I'm like, "So I'm going to go on this cruise with Andrew for the next like 3 days," and I'm 18 years old by this time, and my parents are like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Why not?" And they're like, "You're just not going on a cruise at 18 years old by yourself without parental supervision." I'm 18. I'm going to college. This is, I don't know, April of 1988. I'm like, I'm going to college. I'm an adult now. Like, I can go on this cruise. What kind of trouble am I going to get into? You're not going. My parents forbid me to go, you know?
Yeah.
And me, I'm the kind of parent that I'm like, "Oh, you can go away for 3 days?"
Wasn't your kid in the Dominican
Yeah,
Republic right
but
now?
she's in a camp.
Or Coachella.
She's in
But still, like that's such a
that-
long leash,
that's-
dude. Like, yeah, go to a different
That's
country.
precisely what I'm saying, is that my parents
Yeah.
had much more control over me, and they were much more disciplined with me than I am with my own children right now. Keep in mind one other thing. I'm not suggesting to you that people weren't getting divorced in the 80s. They were. I have plenty of friends whose parents were absentee, and this was the years of, I mean, like cocaine was becoming like a big thing. I remember people's parents like having drugs in the house, and they were absentee parents in certain instances. But my parents were real strict. They did not give me a big long leash. Not that I felt trapped in any way. They were there. My mom and dad were married. They were middle class people. They were hardworking people, and there were no luxuries the way my kids have experienced things. My dad didn't take me to the ball game and bring me on the field before the game. I didn't know what a private plane was until 10 plus years ago. My kids have been able to go on private planes. My daughter has traveled literally around the world, Israel twice, Italy twice. Now she's in the Dominican. I'm just saying that my parents were better parents to me than I am to my own children. I think that. I really do. I think that. So Stranger Things all happens in the 80s, huh?
How about this, dude? I'll just challenge you
Yeah.
to do this. Watch at least 3 episodes of Stranger Things.
And should I
That'll give you your answer.
Should I go season 1, 1, 2, 3, or is there a reason to jump in somewhere
Of course.
else?
Don't watch out of turn. Don't watch out of turn.
This is one of the shows that every episode, it's a continuation. It's a story. It's not a,
Okay. All right,
Except for that one season.
Because you are missing out on cultural references now because it's become so big. It's become the Game of Thrones of Netflix. Like, that's their biggest show right now. And they're putting so much money into every episode. I mean, geez, like the last episode of season 4 was 2.5 hours long, dude. So,
wow.
Like, yeah.
I just was seeing recently here over the last few days on AMC, not that I normally watch television, but it just so happens that I was flipping channels. I was trying to get to Bally's so I could watch a Padre game. And I saw AMC, I want to say on my cable is like 52. And I think Bally's is 56, something like that. And they had a Breaking Bad marathon on for days. Breaking Bad over and over and over and over again. Apparently, the second half of the last season of Better Call Saul is happening. I love Breaking Bad.
Sunday.
Okay. I loved Breaking Bad. It's one of my all-time favorite series, but I never got into Better Call Saul because the first couple episodes were super slow and I never got into it. But apparently everybody tells me that Better Call Saul is an incredible series, which I have no exposure to.
I am caught up through 5, and I thought by the time I caught up through 5, season 6 would be done and it would be on Netflix, and now I'm stuck. I don't know where to watch it. I don't know where to watch season 6.
So
I'm not going to watch live TV or anything like that. So
DVR.
But I already missed the first half.
Where's Better Call Saul on? Is it on AMC?
AMC.
And so you have to wait a week. It's not like they drop it on Netflix.
Yeah, no, you gotta wait till it's done, and then probably a couple months after that before it shows up on Netflix.
Damn. All right. Well, I'm thinking
not like Hulu where it shows up the next day.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Stranger Things. You guys have got me thinking. The more you tell me I won't like it, the more I'm thinking I might want to try it. All right, stick around.
There was a really epic scene with Metallica's Puppet Master or Master of Puppets song. So we were saying we got a lot of masters. It just popped in my head.
Got it. Hey, I want to talk some football because I mentioned that before the break. Before I do, quick mention here of our friends at Mazda of Escondido, MazdaofEscondido.com. Alan is the general manager at Mazda of Escondido, and here's what he has asked me off the air to say on the air. Hey, guys, Alan needs your used cars. Used cars, for whatever reason, supply chain issues, whatever, are now all of a sudden appreciating assets rather than depreciating assets. Alan needs your used cars at Mazda of Escondido. So if you want to trade a car in to get a brand new Mazda product, you're going to get more for your used car than ever before. If you don't want to trade it in for something new, but you no longer want this used car, Alan's ready to buy it for you right now on the spot. So think about this. You've got a used car. You feel like you don't need it. You feel like you don't want it. You know it's worth more than ever before. Come to Mazda of Escondido and let Alan buy it from you. Mazda of Escondido, MazdaofEscondido.com. All right. What are you giggling
Dude,
at?
on Spotify?
Yeah.
I was just looking it up. So remember I told you that song Running Up the Hill by Kate Bush is like blew up again because of Stranger Things? It's the top song in the US and in the world for streaming still. But Master of Puppets is now 13th. So it's climbing the charts again.
Wow. Think about the influence of a show like this. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Really is.
Insane.
And I am the only thing I know about Stranger Things, it was on my Domino's pizza box. Don't I feel like a dope?
If you know nothing about it, then you can easily like tune in, you know,
Right.
like you don't know anything about it. So nothing's been spoiled.
I may try it. I may just start watching Stranger Things. I may just start trying to watch it. The only problem I have is that if I watch a series without Rachel, without my girlfriend, then I start getting into it. I want to watch it, and then she's not caught up, and then I'm watching this, and she's not watching it, and then
Has she not seen Stranger Things?
She's not seen any of it. No.
That's where I'm at right now, dude. I don't mean to make a whole TV segment again, but who cares? Started watching the show on Amazon called The Terminal List. So good. So good. With Chris Pratt. And a lot of it is filmed here in Coronado. Dude, badass show. So I'm watching it. I'm on episode 3, and my lady sits down and she starts like watching it with me. And then she turns to me. She's like, "We're watching this together now." And I was like,
yeah,
I don't want to wait.
Well, hey, listen, dude. The show.
Hold on. Wait a minute. You don't watch episodes twice?
No, not really.
This is the same guy that watched The Sopranos twice, the same guy that watched Game of Thrones like 4 times the entire series.
Just watch an episode twice. Fall asleep when she's sitting next to you watching when it's her
idea.
turn.
Mm-hmm.
Dead giveaway.
It's not a terrible idea. But here's the point. You ready? So the thing that you just got me into, that 4-episode series, Keep Sweet. Rachel and I watched episode 1 together on Sunday night. I'm done, and I don't even want to tell her that I'm done, because if I tell her that I went on with the other 3 episodes without her, she's going to be pissed.
Yeah, I wonder
fellas, come on, fellas. Man up, bro. Watch it again and fall asleep.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. I'm not going to tell her that I watch it without her, and then when we watch it together, I'm going to fall asleep. That's a great idea. And then when she asks me about it, I know it all. She'd be like, "How do you know it all? You slept through every episode." I'm like, I may have watched it with her.
No, I was watching.
You can put 2 and 2 together.
All right, let me do this. Let me do this. I mentioned this earlier. We're talking a lot of baseball here, more baseball than I can ever remember talking. And I really
shout out to CJ Abrams.
I just attribute it to the fact that the Padres, to the San Diego sports scene, are the only game in town. And I make an assumption. I hope I'm right. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But I make an assumption that all of our great friends, listeners who are sports fans, that's the one thing they want to hear about and talk about. Now, look, I know we have a lot of listeners out there. Shout out to my man, Darth Navarro, for example. He's a big Dodger fan. And I also know that we have a lot of listeners that come to this show now because they're 710 LA listeners. And when we go to a commercial break up there, they're like, let's go find out what's going on over here. So the LA fans don't really care about the Padres stuff. And I think that the San Diego fans all care a lot about the Padres stuff. But I feel like we've been talking a ton of baseball, and I'm starting to get myself excited for the football season. There are some headlines in the NFL today that I think are pretty interesting. First one is this. There's all this talk about Baker Mayfield going to Carolina, but there were 2 what I would call starting quarterbacks that are out there that everybody was waiting to see what would happen with. Baker Mayfield's the first one, and that Cleveland essentially just gave him away, right? They just gave him away. They couldn't have him on their team anymore. They owed him a lot of money.
They're paying for salary.
Right. They send him to Carolina, and essentially the Browns are paying most of his salary. If he doesn't beat out Sam Darnold, then Carolina's got themselves an issue because Sam has not lived up to, being a top overall pick out of USC with the Jets, and we'll see what happens there. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Baker Mayfield? Is it going to be Sam Darnold? And they drafted a guy. Was it this year's draft? They drafted a kid like in the 3rd round out of Ole Miss, I want to say. Does that sound familiar to you guys? The Carolina Panthers drafting a quarterback. Like I said, not 1st round, but maybe 3rd roundish. But a guy who all the draft experts were saying was 1st round caliber kind of talent. I don't remember the kid's name, but the Carolina Panthers got a lot of quarterbacks all of a sudden. The other quarterback that people have been waiting to see what happens with this guy is Jimmy Garoppolo of the 49ers, where most people assume that Garoppolo will leave the 49ers, although he had shoulder surgery and hasn't even begun throwing yet. But I thought this was interesting today to hear that the Seattle Seahawks are contemplating trading for Garoppolo. You so rarely see trades in the same division, especially for a quarterback. Russell Wilson didn't go, to San Francisco. He went to Denver. Let's get him out of the division. Let's get him out of the conference. We don't want to have to see him twice a year, even though they'll see him once. But the Seahawks thinking about Garoppolo, that is interesting to me. Because if you give Pete Carroll a strong running game and a solid veteran quarterback, a winning quarterback, I'm not saying he's spectacular as a passer, that could be interesting for Seattle.
Well, I think the biggest difference is that he's not Drew Lock.
Right. That's for starters.
If Seattle is really going to tell themselves that we're not rebuilding, then you can't go into week 1 with Drew Lock as your starting quarterback.
Right.
It's not like we haven't seen what he's able to do with good receivers in Denver. It wasn't like Drew Lock was on this trash team. Like Denver was very competitive, and they had really good talent on the offensive side. So I'm not telling you that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to come in and make the Seahawks a playoff team again, but the guy's made it to a Super Bowl, NFC Championship games, and winning record every time he's playing. So I know I have this conception about him. I think it's the team more than him, but if you're the Seahawks and you're looking at available quarterbacks, Makes sense.
You have to find somebody who, one, is affordable and two, is competent. And right now, they don't necessarily, all signs don't point to them having that. And so if you could get Jimmy Garoppolo, you will have a competent guy who can help you win football games. But again, if I'm the Seattle Seahawks, that might not be my first interest. It just might not be, because I want the number one pick. I want to be able to I want to hit the reset button with my franchise with a new starting quarterback. And the chance to do that is next year in the draft. And that's all I can really focus on now.
I don't see it. I don't see Pete Carroll and the Seahawks tanking, number one, or being satisfied not being competitive. So I think that a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, you use the word competent and use the other word affordable. In today's NFL, Jimmy Garoppolo is a bargain based on his resume, and he is competent based, again, on his career accomplishments versus a Drew Lock who has not really proven to be much thus far. You got 10 seconds, Alex. Finish it up.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'll wrap.
No, next year the quarterback class is way better.
Next year's quarterback class is way better?
Yep. Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, top of mind.
All right. Well, stick around, everybody. Highlight of the day is right around the corner. This is Kaplan and Crew from the 7 Mile Casino Studio.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM, ESPN Radio, and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
The Rich Eisen Show airs Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. An engaging blend of insightful football expertise with an offbeat mix of humor and pop culture while continuing to attract the most recognizable names in sports and entertainment. Only on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Please welcome 4 of the 5 San Diego County Teachers of the Year from the 2021-2022 school year. From Central Elementary School, Laura Reyes. From Westville High School, Tiffany Jokers. From San Jose Elementary School, Jacqueline Jordan. And from St. Joe Chavez Middle School, Zar Sanders. Teachers, please deliver the pitch. San Diego County Teachers of the Year with their honorary pitch.
I thought I was okay. I had a degree, I had work experience. I should be able to provide for my kids. But they're just things that you don't plan on in life.
My husband got laid off and we are a family of 5.
My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I would ask the doctors, what can I do? And they would just say, just make sure she's eating. Our lives just changed completely. Thank God that we always had a plate of food.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company, you need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
Locally owned and operated, not some bland, uninspired, corporate, cookie-cutter radio station crap. We simply say to those stations, Q. The mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight presents Let's Talk Hookup.
Hi, this is Pete Gray with this week's Fish Report, and I'm going to talk about our great group trip down to Cedros Sport Fishing on Cedros Island, which is about a halfway down the Baja coast. They had fantastic yellowtail fishing, all wide open surface iron yellowtail, which doesn't get any better than that. 18 to 35 pound fish. Biggest fish was 41 pounds. And there is even a 60 pound white sea bass caught in the group while he was fishing for calico bass, which is kind of the fun thing to do down there. But great place to go. CedrosSportFishing.com if you want more information. And there's also been some really good bluefin tuna fishing off the San Diego coast. Things are picking up and things are really looking better. A lot of yellowtail at the Coronado Islands and a whole bunch more. So be sure to tune in to Let's Talk Hookup this weekend. We're going to have all the information for you and a lot of good stuff too. I'm headed for Alaska. I'll have a report when I get back. So tune in on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio, and we'll talk to you soon.
Let's Talk Hookup airs on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
What's going on to all the great friends that watch the show on television here on Cox Your View? What you're about to see will never be heard on radio, won't be seen on YouTube, no audio podcast. This is just for you here on Cox Your View.
Oh, shit. It's actually 6 minutes.
Okay, here we go. Hey, great friends. Those of you who are watching on Cox, on Channel 4 San Diego, Channel 4 Santa Barbara, or anywhere in Southern California on the Cox Your View network, we had been promoting for a long time Egg Fest down in Chula Vista. And on the weekend of, let's see, it was June 12th, Sunday, June 12th. That's when the event went down. So Grande, Brown Man, let's show all of the Cox viewers what they missed. Did you guys have fun? This was a great event. I loved it.
More importantly, there was lots of food, lots and lots and lots of food.
Yeah. There were also a lot of listeners that came down.
A lot of listeners, yeah.
A lot of listeners who live in the South Bay area that were like, hey, I knew you guys were going to be nearby, so I came over. And by the way, here's one thing that's interesting. Not only were there a lot of listeners, a lot of female listeners, which I thought was super cool. And what I hear from the ladies is, I love it when you guys talk sports, but I really love it even more when you guys aren't talking sports.
Yeah, it's when you bring, this much sex appeal to a show, you get a different audience, Scott,
Facts.
I know.
Facts.
Sexy.
I mean, look at these three mugs,
Totally.
That saying face for radio doesn't apply here.
Hey, there was one lady that showed up, 62 years old, white woman. All she wanted to do was talk about how Browner's her boyfriend. And I'm like, see, Brown? I'm like, this is your demo, man.
That's right.
Alex, show us, what are we going to take a look at? So this is exclusive for Cox. I mean, we'll talk about this on air, but this is stuff you're only going to see here on Cox Channel 4 in Your View. What are we going to look at here first, Alex?
What do you want to look at first? You have Browner being a drone videographer. You have pictures of food. You have we talked to Brian after.
All right, let's do this. Let's start off with food, because that's what Egg Fest was really all about. It was all about the food, right? So what are you going to show us here? Let's take a look.
This stole the show, right? I mean, you gotta.
Right. Yeah. Pig on the big green egg, which, to me doesn't look great, but it was pretty damn good. No, it doesn't look good.
Oh, it looks, when I walked in, that was the first thing I saw. I walked in to the left. This guy had that big green egg wide open. I was like, well, I know where I'm camping. This is where I'm going right here.
I couldn't eat it, man. It was too much. It was too close to looking like a real pig, man.
Well, it was a real pig.
It was a real pig.
I like to eat my food anonymously. I don't like it. I don't like to look at it and then put it in my mouth. I couldn't do that.
When I get a burger, it's just a burger.
Right.
I don't need to see the cow that it came from. Right.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't eat it, man.
Any other Any other food shots that we should take a look at? Because you like the pig. We didn't really love the pig.
Did you guys end up trying the bacon wrapped Oreo?
I did not try the bacon wrapped Oreo, but I think on the right side here, there's a bacon wrapped piece of chicken. Is that what that is?
No, it was a pork belly.
Oh, that's the pork belly. Oh, and what's that little sandwich you got going there?
Pulled pork sandwich.
Dude, that looks good.
Mm-hmm.
That looks really good.
You know what's funny is that this whole time you just keep going from tent to tent to tent to tent, eating. I didn't take any pictures at all. Like the only reason I took a picture of the bacon wrapped Oreo was because I was going to text it to my lady. I was like, dude, they got bacon wrapped Oreos here.
You said they were pretty bomb though.
Okay, so it's really it was confusing. It really was confusing. You take a bite and your mouth is like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? And then the more you eat it, you're like, yeah, this is actually fantastic.
How about
bacon wrapped Oreo?
How about any pictures? Any pictures you got, Alex, of us with lots of listeners that were down? Because that was fun. That to me was a lot of fun. Hanging out with great friends. Oh, look at this crew right here. This is a great crew. Fat Tony's in the house. Tommy. This couple right here, they're wonderful. I love these two to my left. And then my friend Suzanne is on the far left. But this is a really wonderful couple, drinking beers, supporting. That was great. Anybody else? Oh, this lady right here. She works for the county of San Diego. What a sweetheart she is. She gave me her phone number. I went to text her to give her my phone number, and she gave me a landline. So I maybe I put the wrong phone number in. I don't know. Who else?
Girlfriend?
Oh, Browner's girlfriend. This woman. She's like, I love
boo?
Browner.
Sup, boo?
That's your girl, huh, Brown?
Yeah, that's my girl right there. Shout out.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. She gave me her Instagram.
Her husband
handle.
understand.
Her husband was like, I get it. That's Cheryl Delaney, by the way. Cheryl
Her husband
Delaney
was like, take her.
Hey, Alex, show us the video. I know I talked to Brian a little bit. He was super excited about how the day went down. Show us that video if you could. Let's take a look. Yo, so we promoted Eggfest for a long time. And today, Brian Bushfield, what do you think?
Huge success. Big. Look at it. We got 20 chefs, 40 eggs.
20 chefs, 40 eggs. We're walking in circles.
Tailing off. We would have been here an hour ago. We couldn't have done this video. There were so many people. Beer garden, huge success.
Yeah, and we did so much of the promotion besides radio was exclusive on Cox. So for everybody that's watching on Cox, dude, way to come out and support. Nice.
Right. And I mean, if you're thinking about advertising, Scott, Kaplan and crew, Cox Cable, way to go.
Thank you for that. All right, it's unsolicited. There you go. Thank you, Brian.
Unsolicited.
God, I'm fat. I got to lose weight. I need to lose.
Come on, man. That's what you saw.
Dude, I got to lose 15 to 20 pounds. Hey, look, bottom line is this. To all the Cox Your View viewers out there, we really appreciate your support. And we'll keep on doing this where there's just Cox exclusive content.
The NFL lives here. If it's about the NFL, you found the right station. Join 1090 every Sunday during the NFL season for the exclusive SoCal home of not one, but two NFL games every Sunday during the season on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
I'm tax attorney Adam Brewer. If you have a serious tax problem with the IRS or state of California, then you don't need a tax relief company. You need a tax attorney. Call or visit my website to schedule your free tax evaluation.
What keeps me coming back is just learning more about myself in the classroom, and as I learn more about myself, I can share more about myself with my students, and I can open up more and care more and love more and teach more by example.
Teaching is just one of those things that if you have a heart for it, you've found your place, and I have found my place. I get to help little people realize what it means to learn something for the first time, and that's something like reading that will be with them for the rest of their lives.
Still a little bit overwhelmed, maybe a little bit surprised. You know, you don't go into teaching for awards, you go into teaching because you sincerely believe you can make a difference in young people's lives, and that's kind of what got me into the field in the first place.
We use our phones to order our food, catch a ride, share our stories, and so much more. SDCCU made banking from your mobile device easy too. You can do so much, get up-to-date account balances, check on pending deposits, transfer money, deposit checks, and more. Safely and securely, all through the convenience of your smartphone. SDCCU. It's not big bank banking, it's better.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM ESPN Radio, SoCal Sports Talk.